Frankie Russo. I'm on Scope Live, Facebook Live. How you all doing? No, wait. Scope Live, YouTube Live. So it's on Frankie Russo TV. Okay, and I got my app. It's on my Twitter. I'm still in the beta stages with it. We had a nice meeting this week, and we're going to be updating the app, and I'm going to do a nice launch very shortly. So it's in the App Store right now, the Apple Store. Just put Frankie Russo in there, and the app comes. So we're looking into different things, developing a video channel, etc. for the Frankie Russo show. Because right now I'm in Scope Live, YouTube Live. So that's where I am. So just go to my Twitter at Frankie Russo 1 on Twitter. You see the pinned tweet. You just click on the link, and you go right to the. Okay, soap opera. Thank you. Yeah. So this is So go to my pinned tweet on Twitter, and you click on the link, and it'll go right to my app. Or you go to the Apple Store, put Frankie Russo, and the app will pop up. You join, it's free. And then if you join free, as I roll things out, you'll get discounts. Okay? You're right, soap opera. You're right. So before I go to our great president, Donald John Trump, so today, right, well, the Yankees named this guy, Matt Blake, from the Cleveland Indians to be our pitching coach. He supposedly was involved in, I don't know exactly whether he was the pitching coach at Cleveland or he was involved in developing pitcher development in Cleveland. So Matt Blake, I'm looking it up right now. I know he's a pitching coach. Let's see where he originally came from, what he did in Cleveland. Oh, he's a pitching coach. He's a Yankee pitching coach with Cleveland. I'm not sure what he was. Let's see. Matt Blake. Let's see what he did with Cleveland. So Cleveland knows pitching, so it's a good thing. Okay, so he was right. He was a director. I was right. He was the director of pitching development from Carrasco to Kleber to Kluber to this guy Bieber and Clevenger. He's developed a lot of pitching, and had a nice bullpen too. So this guy knows pitching. So we got him. Now I feel bad about Didi. I don't know what's going to happen with Didi with the Yankees, but I believe the Yankees are going to go after. They're going to go after pitching. We need the insurance policy. That's Garrett Cole. So that's going to happen there. And then I can't believe Cole didn't win the Cy Young Award. They gave it to Verlander. He's a great pitcher. And I don't understand DeGrom. I just don't get it. He got 29 of 30 first place votes this year, like last year. I don't understand that. He's a very good pitcher. Probably top 5 pitcher in the National League. Absolutely. I just don't get the overwhelming choice. Scherzer last year beat DeGrom 3 of the 4 top categories of pitching, and he got 1 first place vote. Matter of fact, last year DeGrom got an MVP vote. It's ridiculous. To me, the Baseball Writers of America are Hillary Clinton supporters, quite frankly. They probably voted for Hillary Clinton, right? So that's what I'm talking about, that one. So, and then my New York Giants, a mess, right? I felt bad for Saquon Barkley. He don't look too good. He looks like his ankles are shaky. Maybe we should give him some rest. I don't know. My Knicks don't look like they don't play defense. There's no energy there. I think they got to get rid of Fizdale. So that's my quick take. That's my quick take on the Knicks, the Yankees, and the New York Giants. Because we should just get this guy for the Giants. We should rest Saquon and put this guy Penny in. He's big, 6'2", 6'3", and he runs like, he's got a motor. And just run the ball, man, and then play action and keep it simple for D Jones, because D Jones could be he's got some serious upside, this kid. if we can keep him healthy, that is, right? So that's my quick sports take, because I don't want to stay in too long. So now I'm going to our great president, Donald John Trump. We had the so-called hearings today. Absolutely, baby Jimmo, crazy, right? Ridiculous stuff. So the thing that, the things that popped out to me during this thing, because I watched a lot of it, was something that nobody's been talking about, and it's some of the things that I've been talking about on my show, and it's beginning to not to look like a stretch. Like Frankie Russo, they call me Islamophobic, they call me a white supremacist because I'm pro-America. They call me a white nationalist, a white Christian nationalist. I mean, I've been called so many names since my times at ABC. It's beyond belief, right? So on my show, we have vectors. The vectors are real. I'm not saying that we speak an incontrovertible truth, but we're at the very least, we're in many instances, we're in the realm of statistical significance, right? So I'm sitting there watching this thing. I don't have the ladle, I don't have the thing, the some of the articles or whatever. I don't have it all laid out tonight because I just wanted to come on because things started to pop with me. I was watching, because I watch Fox News. Oh, by the way, I watched Fox News tonight, and Tucker Carlson was on point tonight. I was shocked how he was hitting hard for our great president Donald John Trump. Martha McCollum tries to be fair, so does Tucker. And then what's his name? Sean Hannity. What a show! I mean, he had a great show tonight. Sean Hannity killed it. So did Laura Ingraham. But Sean Hannity, man, Hannity had Mark Levin. Look, Mark Levin's rant tonight was off the chain. He was unbelievable. He was unbelievable tonight. Mark Levin's rant, incredible. So that's so that's what I was doing. I was, and I think something popped, So I'm thinking. So George Kent and Ambassador Taylor are diplomats. They have diplomatic visas. I'm telling you. Russo comes to the mic, and I'm telling you, this is not a stretch. I'm beginning to, things are starting to fall into place. I always say, with tongue in cheek, I don't know, that the DNC are stealth jihad radical Islamists. And you can look at it. Tom Perez and Keith Ellison, who's sworn under the Quran, are running the DNC. Adam Schiff is a big contributor to CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. And who was sitting on the Intel Committee? How he got there, I have no idea. Adrian Carson. Big CARE supporter. Big CARE. He is part of the Hamas-Palestinian wing of the Black Congressional Caucus, right? That's what I'm against, the radicals. I'm for the civil rights, the Martin Luther King wing of the Black Congressional Caucus. Adrian Carson is a big CARE, as is Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Tlaib, the new faces of CARE. They've taken the place of Niwad Hawad and Omar Ahmad, the founders of CARE. They were in that one of the trigger points of the radical Islamists in Philadelphia in the 90s, according to the Holy Land Foundation trial. This stuff just doesn't go away. The only thing that changes is the profile. So now, instead of having Middle Easterners trying to coup America, trying to take America over, trying to destroy America, we have lefty white boys now and lefty white chicks, right? That's what we got, right? So the profile changes, but it's still absolutely, God bless you, baby Jimbo, but the profile changes, right? So instead of Middle Easterners, we have lefty white boys and lefty white chicks. Adam Schiff, right? Schumer, Pelosi. It just goes on and on and on, right? It's just off the hook when you think about it. Coons, Senator Coons. It just goes on. Pat Leahy, Senator Leahy. These are so, and it shows you what President Trump inherited, right? So now I'm telling you, I'm watching Fox. I watched the hearings, and things are starting to percolate with me, right? Things are starting to percolate with me, you know. So I'm watching it, and so it hit me like the end of the Hannity show, the beginning of the Laura Ingraham show. George Kent and Ambassador Taylor are diplomats. They have diplomatic visas. They have diplomatic visas, right? They have diplomatic visas. So what do we say about diplomatic visas? We go to the Kelly Moore article. Kelly Moore article. She was the she worked for 10 years. She was an assistant attorney, assistant U.S. attorney. I forgot what district. The district from Brooklyn, right? So she dealt with all of the terrorism cases in Brooklyn, and the Omar Abdel Rahman, the Blind Sheik, and the Al Farouk Mosque on Atlantic Avenue, Muhammad Al Mawad getting extradited from Yemen with the terror financing from the tri-state area, from the Al Farouk Mosque in Brooklyn to the Jersey City Mosque with Muhammad Al Anudi, Musa Abu Marzouk, the Holy Land Foundation trial. It goes on and on, right? This lady was plugged in, and she had this article on analyzing terrorism and the FBI investigations pre 9/11. This was a peer-reviewed journal article, and post 9/11. Did Kelly Moore, right? Tremendous article. I had it on the show. I don't have it in front of me, but I remember it distinctly. And she talked about the beginnings of the radical Islamists coming into our country and utilizing illegal money transfers to the radical Islamists abroad. And there was a big ring called the Al-Rani ring, and they had these Al-Rani informants, right? So it started with these because what the FBI would do is they would because there's only a certain amount of agents, right? Then they got to infiltrate, and that's how they're able to they get informants, and that's how they're able to infiltrate the terror cells and eventually arrest and indict, right? So what happened was in the Al-Rani ring, which was one of the biggest illegal money transferring ring cases at the time, they had gotten from that case a few of the individuals. They were able to press hard the FBI, and they got them to become informants. So much so that they were sending them to Yemen to bring in the big sheik from Yemen, the big terror financier from Yemen. They got Abidj Al-Fiji, the big he owned an ice cream parlor over here on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn, and he had $21 million in his bank account, and he was sending it out to 13 countries to fund terror cells throughout the world. And the FBI was flipping out over this stuff, right? And then the Al-Rani informant got this guy Abidj Al-Fiji on tape, and he talked about how the Islamists now are aware that the FBI is onto their illegal money transferring rings. So now they're infiltrating through the diplomatic visas. Wow, right? Kelly Moore article. So that brings us to Mohammed Morsi, educated in America, diplomatic visa, became prime minister of Egypt. Like Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton, moles, creations of the CIA, the corrupt wings of the CIA, the Brennan, Morrell, Panetta wing of the CIA, and the Comey, Mueller wing of the FBI, creations of the intelligence agencies. Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton, those big three, right? Creations of the intelligence agencies inside of America. So Mohammed Morsi became prime minister of Egypt. He was educated in America, right? PhD, supposedly. I mean, it's in his bio, and they're footnotes. Not all the footnotes go to where they're supposed to go. And, it's a Wikipedia thing. So, Wikipedia. But there are footnotes there. But not all the footnotes confirm. So it's like a ruse in a lot of ways. His overall bio is like, because I talked to a lot of my Egyptian brothers over here in America, and according to the Egyptians, the Egyptian community here in America, they believe that Morsi was born in America, like he's their version of Barack Hussein Obama. Okay, so you got like Mohammed Morsi, educated in America, PhDs, and supposedly he did work on the space shuttle. He's like this physicist. This is like crazy stuff. I clicked on his article. I don't know what it did take me. His scientific article where he supposedly got published, his thesis, whatever. It didn't go anywhere. I don't know, right? Then this other guy, Mohammed Javad Zarif, the lead negotiator for Obama's fake Iranian nuke deal. He was educated in America. Another intelligence creation, right? Then you had Mohammed Ahmed Youssef. Mohammed Ahmed Youssef was one of the Sudanese diplomats that were involved with the Sudanese mission with Shajid Ali and the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, right? Then we had, in the 9/11 Commission, we had Mohammed Atta in Prague, which I looked at the map, right? The terror cell originated with Mohammed Atta, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Al-Madar al-Hamzi in the Hamburg terror cell in Germany. And Prague, the vectors from Hamburg to Prague is pretty real. And according to the 9/11 Commission, Mohammed Atta met this Iraqi intelligence officer, a diplomat in Prague before the 9/11 hit. Okay. And then we had in Benghazi, a Turkish diplomat was one of the last, a Turkish diplomat of the General Council of the Turkey's embassy inside of Libya, right? Was very close, was the last one to meet with Ambassador Stevens before he got whacked. Unfortunate hit by the Islamists. He was one of the first ones, the last ones to be with Ambassador Stevens before they hit him, right? Horrific, right? Before they got the 4 Americans in Benghazi, right? They were left to die, right? So why am I bringing this up, right? The diplomatic visas. It's like an occurrence that keeps popping up, right? Diplomatic visas. You have a general council of Turkey. Is this a stretch? I don't know. I don't think so, right? You got the Turkish general council that was on what was going on in Benghazi and what was going to happen to Ambassador Stevens, according to much published reports. Then you had this Mohammed Atta meeting with this Iraqi, because what happens is you got the State Department where George Kent was from. You got the ambassadors, right? The ambassadors and the State Department work very closely with the intelligence agencies. So they become conduits for the intelligence agencies, right? They front for the intelligence agencies. That's why they put Hillary Clinton in the State Department. She's a mole for the intelligence agencies, for the corrupt wing of the FBI and the CIA. Absolutely, as was Barack Hussein Obama, right? So now President Trump, our great president, an outsider, comes in and he's shaking things up, right? And he's gone through he's done a tremendous service for our great nation. Just keeping the criminals, Hillary Rodham Clinton, out of the White House is a tremendous service for this great nation, as well as the accomplishments he's done with the economy, from unleashing the energy sector to unleashing the chokehold of the regulations on the economy, to bringing the manufacturing base back to this country. He's trying to get, according to, oh, by the way, yeah, Donald Trump Jr. was on Hannity Show. He had a great segment too. Well, I had to get rid of the goose. Is not a nice guy. I got to get rid of the goose. So according to Donald Trump Jr., he was talking about what up, Alfalfa? He was talking about the USMC with Mexico and Canada would bring tremendous amounts of jobs to this country. President Trump got rid of the NAFTA agreement, which was a big ruse for the working men and women of America. And President Trump renegotiated this new agreement between Mexico and Canada and America, and according to Donald Trump Jr. and our great president, this would bring a tremendous amount of jobs back to America. Tremendous. So the DNC, Pelosi, led by Pelosi in the House Democrats would rather go along the lines of this fake ruse, whatever you want to call it, against our great president, because to me, it's just a frame job, right? But just to go back to what I was trying to say, because I was trying to bring in this thing. So President Trump comes into this thing as an outsider and ginning things up, turning things upside down, going after China, getting out of the Iranian nuke deal. I mean, dropping bombs in Syria, dropping bombs in Afghanistan, drop bombs on Assad chemical weaponized his people. He dropped bombs over there. President Trump, he had a Riyadh summit, right? God bless you, Alpha. So President Trump is doing his thing, working on bringing the economy back, bringing jobs back, bringing the manufacturing base back, unleashing the energy sector, unleashing the regulations on our economy, right? And then he's working on the foreign policy. Now, the foreign policy, as we've been discussing, you got the intelligence communities, and they work through the State Department, right? They work through the diplomats. They front for the diplomats. And that's the rub against our president, right? Right, Alpha? God bless you, my brother. That's the problem. So now President Trump has a different policy agenda. And it's his right. He's the duly elected president. He has a right to implement the Trump doctrine, America first, make America great again doctrine. And we have these anti-American unelected officials inside the deep state trying to undermine and trying to coup our president, right? So what has happened was, in a very systemic, slow process, it went from illegal money transfers, funding radical Islamists to come over here, as Omar Abdul-Rahman was on 3-terror watch list and married an American Muslim convert and created the terror cell inside of, in Brooklyn, where they ended up blowing up. Fortunately, it wasn't as horrific as the 9/11 hit, but Omar Abdul-Rahman, who passed away recently in his lifetime prison sentence, he was the inspiration of the Ramzi Youssefs, Mohammed Salah. Thank you, Russell. Thank you for the visit of the Ramzi Youssefs, the Abu Alima, who was thrown out of Egypt for terror, and because of the amnesty here in the 80s, he was able to infiltrate our infrastructure from Hamburg. He was in the Hamburg terror cell, and he infiltrated our infrastructure through the amnesty, basically, right? So he became the migrant farmer. He became a migrant farmer from South Carolina, him and his wife. Fake, fraudulent information. And he ended up establishing his residency through the amnesty. And then he ended up going to New York, became a chauffeur, and he ended up being a major perpetrator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing with Mohammed Salah, who was he provided the gasoline from one of his gas stations. 100 gallons, 200 gallons of gasoline to try to blow up the World Trade Center. Crazy stuff, right? So these are Islamists that come in here, right? So then we had Anwar al-Awlaki with the 9/11 Iman. He was born in America. His father had diplomatic visas. His father was a big wig in the Yemen government. I think with Ali Abdul Salah before Hadi got couped, because Hadi was the duly elected Sunni. I think it's Hadi. I'm pretty sure it's not. Abadi is the Iraq. I always get them confused. Hadi was couped by the Houthi rebels backed by Iran. And who's this guy, Nick? Don't come into the room cursing, Nick. Don't come into the room cursing. I don't care if you don't have to like Trump, but I'm going to block you. I'm just telling you. You're warned. Okay? So that was another with a diplomatic visa. Anwar al-Awlaki's father had a diplomatic visa, and he established residency in New Mexico. He was educated in Anwar al-Awlaki was in Yemen in '78. He was a kid, came back, entered some universities there. I don't think he finished because he was involved he was the imam in the September 11, 2001 hit on this great nation, the horrific hit. He was the imam in the terror cells in San Diego with Muhammad Atta and al-Madar, al-Hamzi in San Diego, in San Antonio, and in Virginia. And those vectors are very clear, right? We got the vectors from San Antonio to Houston, and it goes parallel to the Cartesian coordinate system right into New Orleans, Louisiana, up through the Shajij Wahad, Sharaj Wahaj. His son was the creator of the jihadi training camps in New Mexico, El Paso, Texas, in New Mexico, right close to El Paso, Texas, and in Macon County, Alabama, where this vector goes through alongside of Atlanta, Georgia, right through Charlotte, North Carolina, into DC, where Anwar al-Awlaki is the imam of this mosque, and he's the 9/11 imam, born in America. His father had diplomatic visas. So President Trump now comes in where initially we had these foreign diplomats with these diplomatic visas coming in, infiltrating our country with behind them creating a pathway for the radicalisms to come in and start blowing buildings up. And then in comes Muhammad al-Abari, Bo Patel, and stealth jihad radicalism is in crazy, Russell, crazy, in Muslim Brotherhood operatives, educated doctors, lawyers, like the Lebanese, like the Lebanon, not Lebanon, the Libyan, right, Russell, like the Libyan doctor, the physician of them in D.C. He was the president of the chapter of the Muslim American Society, and he was the one that got Anwar al-Awlaki to become the Muslim chaplain, I think, in George Washington University. Muslim Brotherhood operatives, educated, stealth jihad radicalisms. So that's how they infiltrate. They've infiltrated our country, right? So now President Trump gets elected in 2016, wins by arguably one of the, if not the greatest upset in presidential election history, was the election of Donald John Trump to president of the United States. A total outsider. The first time in our history, someone with no political experience becomes president of the United States. So he's got all this against him with the deep state and this corrupt wing, this Comey Morell wing of the Comey Mueller wing of the FBI, and the Brennan Morell Panetta wing of the CIA, right? The two corrupt wings who front the Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton and William Jefferson Clinton. They are moles for these corrupt wings of the intelligence agencies. So President Trump comes in now in 2016, and he's got all this against him. But now it's a little different, because now it's not the foreign diplomats that are not only the problem; it's the American diplomats. That's how much we've been infiltrated by these stealth jihad radical Islamists, right? So what's the difference if they're Middle Eastern or they're American, right? They're looking to coup the country, right? So you got Kent from the State Department, because his policies, and you got this other guy, Taylor, ambassador to Ukraine, U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, right? Coming in saying they disagree with the president's policies, so the president doesn't agree with them because they've been there longer, or maybe because they got ties to the deep state, which are basically the DNC, which is basically stealth jihad radicalism. It's run by Keith Ellison, who swears under the Quran, and Tom Perez from the Obama administration. He was head of the civil rights division of the DOJ. Stealth jihad radicalism, right? I'm telling you, this is not a stretch. Diplomatic visas. You got to watch the diplomats because they're influenced, Russell, by the intelligence, the corrupt intelligence agencies, the CIA and the FBI. That's why President Trump has these problems. And look who's running the impeachment, right? Look who's running the impeachment of trying to run these fake impeachment hearings. Adam Schiff, big contributor to CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, and the chair of the House Intel Committee. It's crazy, right? What up, Lisa? It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's true, right? It is not. Yeah, I've been on and off. I'm trying to. I got this app. I got this beta of this app. It's on my Twitter account at Frankie Russo 1 on Twitter. They suspended my account for 3 months, but I'm back. Thank you, Jesus. So now I'm just giving a quick take. I'm on for about a half an hour, and I'm giving a quick take. Who are you talking about? Lisa, I'm sorry. I'm a Trump guy. You know. I hate to burst your bubble, Lisa. You must have cried. Were you one of those snowflakes? I'm telling you, Russell. Are you one of those snowflakes, Lisa, that cried on November 8th, 2016? Well, it's a definite frame job, right? Definite frame job. So we're talking about the diplomatic visas. How now the diplomatic visas were the way the foreign diplomats would infiltrate America. The radical, like I've mentioned, Mohammed Morsi, Mohammed Javad Zarif, the Mohammed Ahmed Youssef, the Sudanese diplomat with the Sudanese mission, worked with Sajid Ali to blow up the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, to blow up the World Trade Center. They were casing the tri-state area. It was so bad that Sajid Ali was calling up Hassan al-Turabi in Sudan, the Muslim Brotherhood operative, the father of the Muslim Brotherhood chapter in Sudan, asking him where Mubarak was. They were holding paramilitary exercises with this Pan-Islamic Summit, with the Sunni Shiite nexus inside of Sudan at the time, trying to find out where Mubarak was because they wanted to whack him. At the same time, they were looking for buildings in the tri-state area, looking to blow up buildings and kill Americans through these diplomatic visas. So now we got diplomats now that are American. So you could see the infiltration inside this country, because not only now are the foreign diplomats with these diplomatic visas coming in here, trying to blow buildings up, and under the guise of they're educated, they're not radical Islamists, right? They're educated, they're Muslim Brotherhood operatives with doctors and lawyers and accountants with education. So they don't want to blow us. Of course they do, right? So now, right, Russell? Now we got 2 diplomats that are trying to undermine. I'm about to block this Lisa chick. You don't have to like Trump, but you don't have to like our great president, but just show a little respect, So we have these diplomats, this Kent, who's controlled these. They're basically, basically the intelligence agencies, the corrupt wing of the CIA, the Brennan Morrell Panetta wing of the CIA, and the Comey Mueller wing of the FBI influence these diplomats. Tremendous amount of influence on these diplomats. Diplomatic visas, trying to coup America because they disagree with the president's policies. Who sets foreign policy? The president of the United States. Last time I checked, President Trump got over 306 electoral college votes. What's up, Pete? That's it. This is a wrap. Absolutely, Pete. This is a wrap. So now we got American diplomats with diplomatic visas. That's how bad it is. That tells you how bad it is inside the United States government, what President Trump inherited. the opposition is beyond belief when you think about it. I tell you, Danny Dimes, let me tell you, Danny could throw the football, I'll tell you that much. If they could keep him healthy, he could be a pretty nice quarterback. You're right, Russell. It's horrific. American diplomats, Americans with diplomatic visas are looking to coup this country, are working with the intelligence agencies inside of America. That's how bad we've been infiltrated, right? Just look at, well, Russo, you're nuts, right? Just look at the 1992 presidential election. 92, was it 92? Wait, 92, right? You had William Jefferson Clinton. They loved him. He was so compromised, Russell, right? They loved the corrupt wing of the CIA and the corrupt wing of the FBI loved William Jefferson Clinton. They love the Clintons. They're so corrupt, right? Between William Jefferson Clinton and Hillary Rodham Clinton, you got at least a century of absolute corruption from Arkansas all the way to the DC, right? Now, he's facing HW. Now, I'm not a Bush guy. That's what I'm talking about, Blitz. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not a Bush guy, right? But I tell you, I like Bush, man. I'm a Bush. I like Bush, but a different, I mean, I'm not a W. Bush guy, but I am a Bush guy. But anyway, but I meant was because HW, right? HW was running. He's running for his second term as president. He won in '88, and he was running in '92 against William Jefferson Clinton. And the crazy thing about it is, right? I like HW. I like HW. He was he was an air pilot. He was a combat fighter, and he was an air pilot, and he performed 51 missions in air missions during World War II. Absolutely, Russell, during World War II. So HW to me was extraordinary, right? Over 50 plus air missions during World War II, he did. 51. Tremendous World War II veteran. One of the greatest generations in this nation's history, right? So now, absolutely, combat vet, he's amazing, Russell. HW. So what happened was Ross Perot was put in the race. Ross Perot had an FBI informant in his campaign. So conceivably, Ross Perot was there as the insurance policy to make certain that William Jefferson Clinton gets elected president of the United States. Now, I'm not saying if it was just a head-on election that William Jefferson Clinton wouldn't have beaten HW. I don't know but it wouldn't have been a cakewalk. And conceivably, Ross Perot, who got like 20% of the vote, was the insurance policy, I think. So they've been doing that from over 20, 30 years ago, right? I'm just saying. Probably, right? Right, Dr. Bart? Probably 516, right? I think in all likelihood probability, HW would have won, right? 51 air missions, incumbent, exactly. 51 air missions during World War II he ran. He was a tremendous combat air pilot, tremendous. One of the, this is the greatest generation in this nation's history. And I'm telling you, Russell, the intelligence agencies, the corrupt wing of the FBI and the CIA, we believe, used Ross Perot as their insurance policy to get the compromised William Jefferson Clinton. And you can see what he did with China, right? What Clinton did with China and North Korea was off the hook. with the W-88s, the designs, the Los Alamos National Labs debacle, and how the DOE covered that up, and he ended up getting campaign contributions from these Chinese nationals, and they had big campaign finance violations with these Chinese nationals, because as he gave them on the sneak tip, under the guise of, well, Dr. Wo Ho Lee downloaded. Well, I think Perot Perot was the insurance policy bought, without a doubt. So Dr. Wo Ho Lee downloaded all of our nuclear info, our nuclear codes, in the Los Alamos National Lab to an unknown location. Crazy stuff. And the DOE under Clinton was covering that thing up like you would not believe. It got so bad, they were afraid what he was going to do next, and they ended up countersuing them for discrimination. You believe it? And I read the oversight on Senator Arlen Specter, because he was the oversight on this Los Alamos National Lab. He said, you can say what you want, whether it was discriminatory, because they were very concerned. He did, and he failed the lie detector test, did Dr. Wo Ho Lee. He did download the information off of our computers, the nuclear information, our nuclear codes, off of the computers in Los Alamos National Lab to an unknown location. That did happen. Absolutely, Russell. That's another situation. Absolutely. But what I believe, absolutely, very bad, Bart. And Hillary Rodham Clinton was just as bad or worse. Between what they did in Egypt and Libya and Iran, the Obama-Clinton crime families are off the hook. So we got a president, Donald John Trump, right? So what does Trump do, right? But what does Trump do? Trump comes in, gets out of the Iranian nuke deal, right? Squeezing Iran with sanctions the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. First time in U.S. history, he sanctions a government entity. Right, 85? Right? Obama gives the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps 1.7 billion in euro notes. He money laundered it from United States dollars because he couldn't. It's against the federal statutes. Iran cannot be in our banking system. They're world's largest state sponsor of terror. It's against our federal statutes. So they money laundered the U.S. dollars to euros to get the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. I got 5 sources. Put it in euros to get them the cash, so they can move it, because they're big smugglers. They can move it through their Iranian global terror network, the Sunni Shiite nexus. That is the ISIS-Iran nexus, the Hamas-Iran nexus, the Al-Qaeda Iran nexus, the Afghan Taliban Iran nexus. This is real deal stuff. This is Iran moves. Iran is the real deal of this terror movement, is Iran, Russell. So Obama gave Iran 150 billion back because we held on to the money. We didn't give them the jet fighters because they held 50 plus American hostages, right? So we kept the 400 million and ended up, the Hague said we got to give them their money back. These criminals, this corrupt Islamic Republic of Iran government. Well, it all works hand in hand. We talk about many things, but we believe, right? Right. That's true. That's true, Russell. That is true. That is true. So we're looking at these diplomatic visas. And so what they do is they change the profile, right? So initially, before President Trump got in, it was like the Sudanese mission. It was a Sudanese diplomat. It was an Egyptian diplomat, Mohammed Morsi. It was an Iranian diplomat, Mohammed Javad Zarif. It was Mohammed Ahmed Youssef, a Sudanese diplomat, the Sudanese mission. Then you had Mohammed Atta meeting an Iraqi diplomat in Prague before 9/11. Then you had a Turkish diplomat meeting with Ambassador Stevens before the horrific hit on Benghazi, where the 4 Americans got killed. He was involved, according to much published reports. Now President Trump gets in, it's years later, and now we have American diplomats involved in a coup to take out a president because they disagree with his policy. It's ridiculous. The Benghazi cover-up was the Iranian terror cell, materially supported by, so the Iranian terror cell with money, Obama money, the Obama Clinton crime family money, absolutely tragic, absolutely. Human assets, Al Qaeda in Libya, and they provided the assets from Egypt, Muslim Brotherhood operatives, Morsi, right? Weapons, 400 FIM 92s. This is the vectors that I can't get away from. These vectors I can't get away from. The Obama Clinton crime family and NATO materially supporting Al Qaeda in Libya. 10 years removed from September 11, 2001. Beyond belief. I can't get away from those vectors. It's all connected. Exactly, Russell. Exactly. So it just looks different. That's all. So the profiles just change. So you got lefty white boys now. That's all. It's crazy, but it's just lefty white boys. That's all. So it went from Middle Easterners, and some Middle Easterners like Adin El Shrike Juma, who was originally from Saudi, came in with the 9/11 hijackers, met Muhammad Atta, and established residency in Florida. Did he? And he ended up going along those vectors that I talk about all the time, from the poppy fields to Mexico to the streets of New York. He took the vectors from Florida, got on to New Orleans, Louisiana, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, and he goes up to El Paso, Texas, and establishes a terror cell with an FBI asset, Imad Karaka, right? But this Middle Eastern guy, right? So they established this with this FBI asset inside of El Paso, Texas. But the thing about it is, according to Judicial Watch, Tom and Fitton's Judicial Watch, they have great stuff. You got to donate. They got great reporting over there. They do great work with the FOIA work. They just do great work. So this guy, Amid Karaka, the FBI asset, and the one of the most wanted terrorists at the time, Adin El Sharike Juma, originally a Saudi guy, goes back and forth from Mexico back to America, to Mexico, to America, back and forth while he's in El Paso, Texas. And he came back one day. He was Adin El Shrike Juma. Then he goes to Mexico. He comes back. Javier Robles, a Spaniard. Stuff is crazy. What the heck is going on over here, right? That's the problem because the Hezbollah cut force terror cells in Mexico, and they're working with the Mexican drug cartel to change the profile, right? They changed the profile. So like, what's the difference between, right? So whether the person's Middle Eastern or American. So you have diplomats, the foreign diplomats before President Trump came into power, were infiltrating our infrastructure through their diplomatic visas. And I talked about Anwar al-Awlaki's father was a diplomat with Yemen, with Ali Abdul Salah regime. His father migrated to America because Salah, I think he lost. He was a big wig in the Ali Abdul Salah regime. Was Anwar al-Awlaki's father. Anwar al-Awlaki was the 9/11 imam. It's crazy stuff. Father had a diplomatic visa. So these foreigners, the difference is when President Trump became president, now we got diplomats, American diplomats, because now the coup is inside. So originally in the 90s, the coup was coming in, right? They were flying in from the trigger points. It's on my website. The vectors from Sudan, from Sahidan, Iran, from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, with Muhammad Atta and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Hamburg terror cell in Germany with Muhammad Atta, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Al Madar, Al Hamzi, right? All the way to, and then you had the big Hamas conference in the 90s, the Holy Land Foundation trial. So initially in the 90s, the infiltration were the foreigners coming in, right? Now they've infiltrated to the point where Muslim Brotherhood infiltration as well, which is the Holy Land Foundation trial, right? So now they're inside the government. And this is what President Trump is dealing with now, right? You have stealth jihad radicalism is inside of America. Because don't forget, CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, which was an unindicted co-conspirator in the biggest money laundering scheme for terror in this nation's history, the Holy Land Foundation. Not easy, Russell, right? So now, not all of these Muslim Brotherhood operatives, right? So you had like Muhammad al-Abari, Bo Patel, the list goes on. Barack Hussein Obama, Hillary Rodham Clinton, right? William Jefferson Clinton, John Brennan, white boys now. Now it changes. John Brennan. You ever hear John Brennan's Arabic? He was stationed in Riyadh in '96, and he was taking these positions about Hezbollah being moderates. Meanwhile, they did a big study on the Khobar Towers attack. Did the FBI with Louis Freeh? 250 agents for 5 years, right? It was the Brigadier General of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Brigadier General Sharifi, from the Damascus, because we talk about those vectors, Iran's most profound vectors, from Baghdad to Damascus is 180 degrees west. Boom, they're in Damascus. Oh, I'm a man of Christ. I'm a man of the Rosary. I am, Russell. Absolutely. But the thing about this whole thing is, right? So, like you said, Russell, everybody don't want to realize that this whole thing is, this thing with radical Islamic terror and Muslim Brotherhood is, in America, is quite profound. Because what happens is, you got the Islamists create panic and fear, right? They blow buildings up. They use our immigration. They use our lack thereof. Well, I think the technology is there, the laws are there, but it's run by corrupt people. Is our immigration authorities. Obviously, ICE is doing a great job. I mean, we have tremendous people on our borders doing great jobs. Unfortunately, the politicians are not doing the right thing, right? So we got like the ICE patrol and the ICE agents are amazing, right? So what I mean by the authority, like the people that in the 90s that egregious. How does Abu Alima get in? He was thrown out of Egypt for terrorist activities. He gets in he had a visa, Hamburg, Germany, Hamburg terror cell. That's the Al-Quds Mosque. They shut it down in 08, 04. He was there. He got into America through his, he had a visa waiver, if I'm not mistaken. He got into America and he established residency through the amnesty. He established residency through the amnesty, being a migrant, claiming he was a migrant South Carolinian farmer. Him and his wife. That's how he established residency in America. Immigration fraud. Ramzi Youssef had 5 passports. Between Ramzi Youssef and his partner to come into this country to blow up the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Ramzi Youssef was one of the major perpetrators. Between him and his partner, I think he had 10 to 15 fake IDs. 10 to 15. And we're giving away IDs to the illegal immigrants, left and right. Driver's licenses and illegal and fake IDs, state IDs and driver's licenses, right? And the 19 hijackers had 60. It's crazy, Russell. Had 60 driver's licenses and state IDs. The 9/11 hijackers, the 19 of them, 60. So we have not changed. The politicians are the problem, right? We have not. So what I'm trying to say is the technology is there, the laws are there. It's the people that are the immigration authorities that are allowing these things to happen. The corruption, right? How does Omar Darakman get in this country on 3 terror watch lists, right? So they've infiltrated this country, right? Foreigners did before President Trump was president. Now, 20, 30 years later, they're inside, right? And they don't always see that whether it's radical Islamists, whether it's Muslim Brotherhood operatives, or whether it's American diplomats trying to coup. Does it matter, right? Trying to coup and take our president out, a duly elected president, right? And that's what we have now with this George Kent, a diplomat with diplomatic visa, as did Mohammed Morsi, Mohammed Javad Zarif, did Anwar al-Awlaki's father, the 9/11 Imam, did who has a diplomatic visa? Guaranteed. Barack Hussein Obama's brother, Malik Obama. That dude, I'll be willing to bet he's got a diplomatic visa from Kenya. He was very close to Gaddafi. Very good, very close to Gaddafi. So close to Gaddafi, that he was actually campaigning his brother not to assassinate publicly, not to assassinate Gaddafi. He was. And it's funny. Gaddafi wanted to live. He said, listen, I'm out. Leave me alone. They killed him because he probably had the goods. He probably had the goods on Barack Hussein Obama. He probably knew who Barack Hussein Obama really was and is Gaddafi. That's why they killed him. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say that's not the only reason why they killed him, because an assassination like that, many people have to benefit from it. So NATO benefited from it. England and France, they got the 143 tons of gold. Obama and the Obama Clinton crime family, they got a probably piece of that. They gave the Islamists. They were so happy. They gave the Islamists 400 FIM 92s. Those are U.S. manpads, the missiles, the 6-foot missiles that shoot down Chinook helicopters. They were shooting down our own helicopters with our own manpads. Kenneth Tillman talked about that in his book, Dark Forces, Truth About Benghazi. So what I'm trying to say is, as Russell said in the room, there you go. There you go. He was trying to, they said, it was in WikiLeaks that he was trying to create, Gaddafi was trying to create this currency backed by gold, with his 143 tons of gold. But then you had the NATO blockades. All these NATO countries were involved in the ouster of Gaddafi. But the corruption, nobody's aware of. Everybody, well, Gaddafi deserved to. I'm not saying Gaddafi was a good guy, but he did give us the WMDs that he had. And once he gave them up, the Obama Clinton crime family whacked them, right? So I'm telling you, man, I think that there's something to these diplomatic visas, because the diplomatic visas, these diplomats are very closely linked. They're influenced by the intelligence agencies. It's crazy, Russell. It's a crazy game. You're right. And this guy Kent from the State Department, and this guy Taylor he was a U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. He's influenced by the intelligence agencies, by the FBI and the CIA. Come on, man. That's where the corruption is. And the games. So basically, the corruption is all the training, all of the training, and the ways in which intelligence is gathered and the counterintelligence is put out is being used now against Americans, against our own people. That's the problem here, right? And that's what President Trump's experiencing firsthand. So we have intelligence agencies like the FBI and CIA. You have Morell, Panetta, Brennan wing of the CIA and the Comey Mueller wing of the FBI corrupt, utilizing the tactics of the agencies, of these agents, disinformation, misinformation, deception. That's intelligence, right? Counterintelligence, counter to the counter, right? All against Americans. And that's the biggest, that's the problem here. That's where and that's where all of the corruption is in these corrupt wings of our agencies. Look at the MI5, MI6 in England, right? They had under their wing Abu Yahya Libby, a stone cold Al Qaeda foreign fighter, goes back to the Afghan Taliban versus the Soviet Union. He was an informant. And they had this guy, they called him Captain Hook, Abu Hamza al Mashri. This guy was like trying to establish a terror cell from England in Blair, Oregon. At the same time, he was involved he's claiming responsibility, a part responsibility in the hit on the USS Cole in the Gulf of Aden. I mean, this is influence that this is the Al Qaeda network inside of England. And the Obama Clinton crime family materially supported the Al Qaeda network inside of Libya 10 years removed from September 11, 2001. And this is the problem. This is why President Trump is going through all this stuff. Because basically the DNC, they have, according to the Clarion Project, I don't have the article, they're claiming that CARE had a meeting recently, the Council of American Islamic Relations, wanting to get, thank you, Journeyman, God bless you, thank you, wanting to get, now, according to Clarion Project, CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations now, see, because right now the Islamists are in the bushes because they're swearing in under the Quran. So they're infiltrating our infrastructure, right? The Congress, Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Tlaib, the new face for CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. They've taken the place of Omar Ahmad, Nawid Awad. They were the originators in the 90s Hamas conference in Philadelphia. They're part of that Holy Land Foundation wing, money laundering scheme for terror. Russell, it's crazy, right? So now they're taking, so CARE is they're going to try to get 30, or I think, absolutely, Russell, God bless you. They're trying to get 30 new congressmen, CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, 30 new Islamists to run for Congress. And they're doing this through the DNC. The DNC. And then we have the complicit rhinos, the Republicans by name only, that are working with the DNC, the stealth jihad radical Islamists. So the CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, is trying to get 30 Islamists to run for Congress. So they're going from a handful to 30. That's why now, right? So they got the Muslim Brotherhood operatives. They're educated, right? Doctors, lawyers, accountants. Meanwhile, they want to invoke Sharia law in America, without a doubt, and take over. It's true. But that's what I think this is. So these diplomatic visas, so whether it's a Middle Eastern man or woman, or it's an American diplomat now. So it just, these are indications. This George Kent of the State Department in tonight's hearing, and this Ambassador Taylor, ambassador to the Ukraine, U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine, have diplomatic visas. So we have American diplomats now trying to take out and coup America, destroy America, reduce America, right? That's the goal of Muslim Brotherhood. And that information was obtained by the FBI in the Holy Land Foundation trial evidence. They came out with information that was beyond belief. And it was an eye-opening on what these Islamists and their intentions were. They actually had the transcripts. They had the body wires and the surveillance in the Hamas conference in Philadelphia. Crazy stuff. I'm telling you. There's something here with these diplomats, with these individuals with diplomatic visas. Guaranteed, Barack Hussein Obama's brother has a diplomatic visa. He was best friends with Gaddafi. So much so that he was actually petitioning Barack Hussein Obama not to assassinate. Publicly, he was doing it, not to assassinate Gaddafi. Gaddafi wanted to live. He was going to give up all his power. He just wanted to live. They said, no, they're going to whack him. And NATO wasn't involved with Sarkozy, France, and Cameron from England. They never would have defeated Gaddafi. Never would have defeated him. He had 20,000. He was hoarding 20,000 Soviet manpads. 20,000. So I'm out of here. It's almost, so if the 1 hour on the air, it's probably like 12 o'clock, 12:15, 12:20. Let me get some sleep. Hopefully maybe I'll see you all tomorrow night. I'll see how I feel. We'll look at this. I think there's more hearings tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll take it from there. I'm still not off this Lisa Page, Monica Witt, Lisa Page, Monica Witt. To me, this is an Iranian spy inside the FBI. This is what they're hiding. Monica Witt, Lisa Page, Monica Witt. I mean, right? This is what they're hiding. And the Obama-Clinton crime family. Have a blessed night, Journey. The Obama-Clinton crime family, NATO, material supporting Al-Qaeda in Libya. Unbelievable. 10 years after September 11, 2001. Horrific. Traitors. Treasonous. That's what they're covering up. The $150 billion to Iran, the $1.7 billion to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. What does President Trump do? President Trump makes Jerusalem the capital of Israel. President Trump pulls out of the Iranian nuclear and sanctions the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Right? President Trump is fighting radical Islamic terror up and down. Now you know why they're after Trump. Telling you. Look at his policies. That's why they're after Trump. Telling you. He's pro-Israel, whacking Hezbollah, killing the ISIS, and squeezing Iran. The real ISIS. The Sunni Shiite nexus. That's ISIS. It's Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. I want to thank you so much for the visits. YouTube Live, Scope Live, Periscope. I'll see you all maybe tomorrow or the next day. We'll see how I feel. This is Frankie Russo. God bless you all. Thank you for the visit. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. I want to thank you for your service. Thank you for providing me with the freedom that I enjoy. I love to broadcast. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you also. This past weekend was Monday was Veterans Day. And, always salute and honor our veterans, the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, for providing us with the freedom that we love and we cherish so much here in America. Amen. Amen to that. And God bless the greatest country on the planet, America. I love my country. The greatest country on the planet. And God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. Mr. President, keep fighting. Keep fighting the fight. And here's a prediction. President Trump, they may or may not try to impeach him. There's a good chance they try to impeach him out of the House. But with the grace of God Almighty, our great president has the Senate on lockdown. They block it in the Senate, and then you have the president now, Trump 2.0, in political campaign mode. He is going to be a savage on steroids. That's my prediction. President Trump, when the Senate blocks, if hopefully he doesn't go through it, but knowing Pelosi and Schiff, they're going to try to damage our president in some way. He'll get through that with the Senate blocking it. And then President Trump will be in full campaign mode. Trump 2.0, he will be a savage on steroids. Trump will be a savage on steroids campaigning. He will be a savage. And you want to know something? He's not going to forget because they try to do this to him and fake and try to impeach him and do this, put him through this. He's not going to forget. And I will predict he will win. I don't know whether it'll be a landslide. I'm looking at something like 2016 with 300 plus electoral votes, all the way to maybe a Reagan-esque like landslide, something like that, or in the middle, right? Once he wins, he's not going to stop, though. That's the thing. People don't understand. He is going to be an absolute savage. He's going to get them all. Just get him reelected. He's going to get them all. He is not going to stop. Hillary Clinton, William Jefferson, he's getting them all. He is going to get them all. That's my prediction. President Trump will get them all after he wins November 3rd, 2020. He is not going to stop and be benevolent because he knows they're going to try to come up 4 years from now. He knows, and he loves this country. That's the beauty thing about our great president, Donald John Trump. He's going to win. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a political bloodbath, but President Trump will win. God bless you all. Thank you for the visits, and God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. Scope Live, Periscope, God bless you, and YouTube Live. God bless you. Thank you for the visit, and God bless our great president, Donald John Trump.